My name is Jeff Morgan. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and to continue on with the series about the Texas Family Law Foundation. And as I said before, I have done some videos on the Texas Family Law Foundation betrayal of trust, because I do think that they have betrayed the trust of Texans. I think that they are a lobbying group. They've come right out and said that they're a lobbying group.
Joelle Cannon Sheridan, and I'm the president of the Texas Family Law Foundation. So the Texas Family Law Foundation, we kind of call ourselves the lobbying arm of the Texas State Bar Family Law section.
They're representing the Texas State Bar Family Law section. They are a lobbying group. They are looking out for the people that they are lobbying for. And many of those people, well, they are the family law attorneys. They want to make sure that the family law attorney business is healthy and thriving and makes a lot of money. And by the way, that money that they're going to be making is coming from you, because they're going to find more and more ways to get you to need their services at a mere $400, $500, $600 an hour, and they can act like they're really helping you out. They know the ins and the outs. They know the players. They've helped to craft this legislation. They know how to navigate through the murky waters. So it may cost you $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. That's okay. We're here for you. It's okay for them. It's not okay for you, but that's what they are doing. So Lynn Kamin, it gives her legislative report, and once again, this is on the Texas Family Law Foundation website. Lynn Kamin, it began with the idea that we as family law attorneys should take a more active approach regarding the legislation that affects our practices. Once again, it's plain and clear. They are concerned about legislation that affects their practices. They are lobbyists. They are concerned about how it's going to affect their business. That's how a small group of members of the Family Law Foundation ended up in Austin, Texas, learning how to lobby legislators in order to be directly involved in the legislative process. And although no one would have been likely to confuse us with seasoned lobbyists, by the end of the session, most of us remember not calling the legislators, Your Honor. Obviously, this is a little bit of humor, a little bit of family law humor. Oh, yes, Your Honor. We aren't calling our representatives and senators Your Honor anymore. And all of us were able to convey to the legislators the genuine interest that family law attorneys have in how the proposed bills would affect the families of the state. Again, this is the PR spin. The families of this state. We have to always pretend that we're acting on behalf of the families of the state and not on behalf of our own interests. I have been involved with the legislative committee in the past, but with the participation of the Family Law Foundation members this year, we were able to broaden our influence to achieve a greater impact on the proposed legislation. Jack Marr took the lead role in organizing our interaction with the legislators. Other than Jack, who was in Austin at least 3 times each week during much of the legislative session, 2 foundation members at a time took 1 or 2 week shifts in Austin. We've got to be down there. We've got to be continually lobbying these people. And again, these are professional. Well, I don't want to use the term professional. They will use professional. The only thing I would use professional for is that that's how they make their money. They make their money off of family law, and therefore they think that they are professionals, even though many lawyers despise family law attorneys. That's the reality of it. They think that they're the bottom of the barrel, but that's a different topic completely. Some of these family law attorneys are really out there genuinely seeking the best interest of families, and that they're very professional. And doesn't mean that they're experts either, but I mean, they do know, they are experts at making money, that's for sure. But anyway, they're down there for 1 to 2 weeks at a time because they want to make sure that every week of the year they have contact with legislators so that they can brainwash them into the Texas Family Law Foundation way of thinking. We identified and testified against potentially bad legislation, such as a proposal to eliminate no-fault divorce. I will talk about this. I'm so glad that Lynn Kamin wrote this report, because it will dovetail perfectly into my last video, or some of my last videos regarding actual bad legislation that the Texas Family Law Foundation killed and were bragging about. We identified and testified against potentially bad legislation, such as a proposal to eliminate no-fault divorce. And that actually is a lie. That's not true what she's just talking about. If she was talking about the 2017 session, I was there. I know I had a part in the whole process. That is not what was being talked about. It was not to eliminate no-fault divorce. It was to eliminate unilateral no-fault divorce. There's a big difference. Forced divorce versus mutual consensual divorce. No-fault divorce, 2 people can mutually agree to a divorce. Unilateral no-fault divorce is one person, often the person who damages the family, forces divorce on a second person. This is the same system that Vladimir Lenin introduced in Bolshevik Russia in the 19-teens. And also, by the way, this type of a system has been repealed in the country of India because it lacks due process protections to the people that it's being filed against. This is how dangerous this bill is. Issues like due process, oh, that's too dangerous. We've got to kill that type of legislation. We worked with senators to fine-tune pending legislation, and we worked with legislators in support of bills. We took the proposed bills around by hand to the different legislators. So, hi, I'm Lynn Kamin. I'm from the Texas Family Law Foundation. I'm a family law attorney. I'm an expert. I'm a professional. Let me tell you why you should do this. And you get a number of these people doing this week after week, and before you know it, you have the representatives and the senators brainwashed and their staff members brainwashed into thinking, well, maybe we're not hearing anything else. Maybe they are right. And remained on the stand to testify as needed. At first, the legislators did not know who we were and seemed a little hesitant about our involvement. Senator Chris Harris and Representative Harold Dutton helped sponsor bills and guide us through the process. And Harold Dutton right now is currently the chair of the Juvenile Justice and Family Issues House Committee. Chairman Dutton, I support the grandparent bill, House Bill 575 that you've put forward, but I would like to know, to what degree are you cooperating with or allowing the Texas Family Law Foundation to write and influence legislation? We are talking about issues that affect families. They are more concerned about their practices. Chairman Dutton, I'm not accusing of anything, but I would like to have a little bit more transparency so that the integrity of the process can be preserved. I would like to know who all from the Texas Family Law Foundation is influencing you or others on the committee with their legislation, and are you giving those people who say that the Texas Family Law Foundation, these lobbyists, are lying to you, are you giving them the opportunity to refute the testimony of these people? Unlike the Texas Family Law Foundation, most people can't live down in Austin every day, every week of the year. So it would be nice to have an opportunity to actually interact with the committee the same way that these people do, these lobbyists do. And there's always questions about whether a lobbyist ends up buying people. I'm not saying anything about anybody, but I would like to know, has the Texas Family Law Foundation actually bought somebody or given them rewards or acknowledged them in special ways that now we have a symbiotic relationship with these people? By the end of the legislative session, several legislators were asking whether the Family Law Foundation had an opinion on a presented issue. Let me cut to the chase on this for all these legislators who want to know what would make the family law attorneys the most money. And that's their opinion. That's as simple as that. The way that I see it, they are lobbyists, they're looking out for their industry. All you have to do is say to yourself, what would make the family law attorneys more money? And you will know their position. That's it. Period. Our opinions clearly influenced the bills which were passed into law this session. And again, this is Lynn Kamin. I would highly recommend this experience. While the process was demanding and challenging, it was also extremely rewarding to realize that we, as family law attorneys, could have and did have a positive influence on the legislation that directly affects, here it comes, the PR spin, families in Texas. Was empowering. Lynn Kamin, Jenkins and Kamin, LLP, Houston, Texas. Lynn, would you also please disclose your financial interest in seeing these legislations being passed? That's really what I would like to know. I know a lot of people say that they're doing things for the health of the family, for the purpose of jurisprudence. But remember, you are with an organization who's looking out for who's lobbying for the financial interests of your industry. I would just like to have a little bit more detail on this if you don't mind. And thank you so much again for your testimony, and I will continue on in the next video. Thank you.